Oh, look at all those people.
Mount Gibson Sanctuary is located about 350 kilometres northeast of Perth, so it's about a 4.5 hour drive, and it's in the transition zone between semi-arid and arid parts of Western Australia, and that's of course part of the range where numbats used to occur. So this guy and 18 other animals that were bred in Perth Zoo have come all that way via road in an air-conditioned troop carrier. And then we're processing them up here in the lab at Mount Gibson Sanctuary. Pes length is 40. Let's just Numbats like this little guy used to be distributed across most of southern Australia, from the southwest of Western Australia up to the southwest corner of the Northern Territory and over into far western New South Wales. And they've since vanished from almost all of that entire range, except for a couple of relictual populations in the southwest of Western Australia. Now, the reason why they declined is due to predation by feral predators, and that's the red fox and feral cat. And the conservation of numbats is therefore dependent on controlling those feral predators. One of the tools that we use to conserve the numbat is creating areas that are free of feral predators, so feral cats and foxes. And here at the Australian Wildlife Conservancy, we do that using a tool called conservation fencing. So we have a feral predator-proof area that is a fenced area of about 7,832 hectares on Mount Gibson, and that's where we're releasing numbats into. Now, we source these numbats from a couple of different areas. They come from some of Australian Wildlife Conservancy's other sanctuaries, Scotia and Yucumurra, but this little guy is actually one of the animals bred at Perth Zoo. So Perth Zoo's been running a captive breeding program since the late 1980s, and they first started breeding animals in 1993. And this is the second batch of animals that we're taking from Perth Zoo and releasing at Mount Gibson. Last year we had 14 animals, and this year all 19 animals that they raised at Perth Zoo are coming out here to Mount Gibson and to form part of our founding population of numbats. Once we release the numbats into the feral predator-free area at Mount Gibson, they're obviously really hard to find again, and that means that we can't monitor their survival and their reproduction. So for a subset of the animals that we're translocating, we fit these radio collars around their neck, and these collars emit a radio signal, and using a specialised receiver and antenna, we can then go and search for that signal and pinpoint where in the landscape the animal is. And then we'll take them out into the feral predator-free area and release them into logs that we've already checked out that they look like they're good numbat logs, and that way we've given them a safe shelter site for tonight, and hopefully tomorrow morning they'll start investigating their new environment here at Mount Gibson, and if they're anything like the last animals we introduced, they'll be happy and start breeding and bolster our population that we're just starting off with here at Mount Gibson. Hands, yep, we can brace his back. Yeah, so it's been a really long day, guys, but we got there in the end. Brought the animals up from the zoo, got them out there. Adele and I did our releases. They went quite well, we thought. All the animals looked quite healthy and went into their logs really quite readily, and I think they'll be settling down for the night by now, and that went really well. How did your releases go?
We had one that wanted to kind of turn around, and then we kind of went back into the log.
Yeah, cool.
We did have another one that just sort of sat there inside the log and just looked at us.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
expectantly.
I had one that kind of wanted to turn around too,
Yeah.
and I had to
Yeah.
kind of coax him
Yeah, we
up
had to do
a
that.
little bit more, and yeah, but they all kind of, yeah, exactly. I think it was just, getting their bearings and
Yeah.
figuring out
I
where they're
think-
going to sleep for the night.